Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we are doing a special show. Actually, we are not going live and we are not doing politics and leadership. Today, we have a brother of ours who is inspiration to many of us, who has passed so many challenges and overcome many challenges and to be where he is. His name is Mr. Victor Obech. And my brother, I will introduce you to my viewers to at least say your name, and from there we will move on and discuss about your life and as an immigration attorney in United States of America. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Brother Benson. My name, as you mentioned, is Victor Obech. And again, thank you for having me on this channel. And I'm happy to be on the show.
Okay, thank you very much for also honoring our invite. And without wasting too much time, we just want to know few things about you. It's just a conversation. There's nothing much. Just to know a little bit of your family and your school background. How was life generally back in Kenya before you came to United States?
Oh, okay. So first of all, I'm originally from Homa Bay, the great Homa Bay County, and I was born in Homa Bay. That's sometimes back, some years ago.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I went to school in Sango, that is in Homa Bay, and also most of my elementary schooling was done in Shauriako Primary. And after that, I was lucky to be admitted to Maseno School. I think that's probably the best decision I ever made.
That's Maseno School is a school. If you're in Maseno, you're in a school.
Yeah, that's something I always cherish up to now. Yeah, then I went to the University of Nairobi, where I did my bachelor's in law for 4 years. Yeah, so that's pretty much my academic background. But the big portion of my life, definitely I spent in Homa Bay more than I did even in Nairobi. So,
so how many are you in your family?
Oh, we are only two, actually. No, we are not like two. We are two siblings plus my mom. Yeah, my dad passed like in 2000, like way back. So my mom has been the pillar of our family for a very long time. And,
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and she's been amazing. She's done great. She supported us all through those times, and definitely I wouldn't be here without my mom.
Yeah, I really appreciate the strength of our mothers back in Africa. They're doing amazing job raising kids, and this is a reflection of how good our moms are. And congratulations to your mother, and for good job she has done to make you be where you are. And let's have another conversation. Because right now I know you are in United States. How did you come to United States, and how was your experience on your first days? Maybe things like communication, culture, and weather. Maybe if you can tell our viewers, maybe part of they might listen to.
Okay. Well, I came to the United States, I think, was it 2014, 2015? Probably 8-9 years ago now. And like many people, I think I was lucky to have my family here. I came through the DV visa lottery, which is really one of the hardest ways to come to the United States. You gotta be really lucky to make it in that list. Yeah. So my uncle applied for me, and he had also applied for other people. But out of the people he applied for, I was really lucky to be among the few. I was actually the only one who was selected on a list of many people that he had applied for. Then again, he helped me process, and I made it to the United States. So when I came now, interestingly, because most of my family, like most of my nuclear family are here probably than they are in Kenya. Like the people from my maternal grandmother, they've always been coming to the United States. So I technically moved from one home to another, and I didn't have a lot of challenges. I'm happy to say that
Mhm.
Unfortunately, many people usually do have a lot of challenges because they probably don't have family, or they don't have a soft landing. But I came again. I stayed with my uncle. I had a soft landing for quite a while, or a soft life for for quite some time.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Actually, let me tell you, if you listen to everybody who comes to United States, they have stories. There are those who experience it the hardest way. Yeah, and you are very lucky to have your family members around to give you a soft landing. Some people do have very hard time to move around, even to get a job when they come to United States. Yeah,
yes.
so thank you for that, for your family being there for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it was easier for me. They helped me with settling in. I had my cousin Brian was always moving me around,
Hmm.
so I had an easy segue from one city to another. As concerning the culture, of course, the culture is different. Even though at that time I was living in Nairobi City, the New York life is very different life.
Hmm.
And it's not as fast paced as people think, because I live in Poughkeepsie area. That's
Hmm.
This is not New York City. Sometimes people think I live in the city. I don't. Like, I'm in the Garissa of Kenya.
You call it the village of New York City. Yeah.
It's like really the village. Like, if I go to the city, you gotta drive it for 2 hours. So really, we're really far away. It's
Mm.
it's it's probably like, no, it's the Nairobi, and then the really outskirts of Nairobi. So it's not as fast paced, and it's good. But just the general New York culture definitely is so fast paced. You have to be on your toes in most circumstances. The weather wasn't fun. I gotta admit that, because I came during winter. That's usually one of the worst times to be here. But the people are generally friendly, and I was just seeing my family and a few friends here and there. I just came to have a good time for the first couple of months. Unfortunately, I got ill, and that was not a good experience.
Mhm.
I think I had malaria coming from Kenya into the United States, so that took a toll on me. And then, even though like America has some of the best doctors, like they have a really hard time treating tropical diseases. So I was hospitalized for almost 5 days.
Oh,
And,
sorry about that.
yeah, thank you. And then the bill was just very outrageous just for malaria. In my head, I was like, like
Well,
it,
back in Kenya, you can only treat malaria maybe sometimes taking these painkillers, the Panadol, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
life continues. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a drug that I use. My friend Dr. Tana, he
Mm.
always like prescribes it for me. It's called Coatem. I don't know if they still use it anymore.
It's still
But
there.
yeah, that Coatem is just like an instant. You're fine after a short time. But in
Mhm.
this case, they had to get doctors. I don't know. CDC had to be involved. It was a whole big thing because of malaria. And I was just like, oh my god, this is really not how I want to start my life here. But as soon as I got out of it, it was a
Mhm.
lot of it was better. I felt better. My
Mhm.
family was very accommodating, and
Mhm.
we had fun. So I came, and then after a short time, I went back to Kenya. I had unfinished businesses in Kenya,
Mhm.
so I came for close to a month. Then I just went back for another long time. I was just sure not to be outside Kenya and outside the United States for 6 months, because that one gets complicated, because I
Okay.
still had a green card then. Yeah, but if you have a green card, there's a time limit. You can't be,
Out
uh,
outside, yes.
yeah, for I think about for 6 months, I believe. Yeah, so
Mhm.
I was very cautious of that. I didn't want to be outside the United States for that kind of period. So before that time elapsed, I jetted back and said, now let me settle here. At least I'd finished the things I needed to go and finish back at home.
Did you have problem with accent? Because it's a big thing whereby you come from Kenya and you're trying to communicate. Somebody will have to take longer time even to know what you're saying. Did you have a problem with that?
Not much.
Okay.
Okay, not much. And I believe, like most of our African accent, we're pretty good. Especially the Kenyan English is really high up there amongst
Mhm.
the most English speaking countries. So I don't think that people should have a problem hearing what we are saying. I can clearly hear what you're saying. I hope somebody else will hear what you're saying. But one thing I will not do is to like change my accent to fit somebody's needs or to fit like what the society feels like.
Oh, okay. That's great. That is
Yeah.
promoting Africa. I usually call it the Africanness.
Yeah.
When I talk of Africanness, I say is what define you to be Africa. What is that unique feature that somebody does not have that you have? If an accent is that feature, then let it be because you are proud of it as an African. So I
Yeah.
should not kind of change it to fit somebody's needs. That's good for you.
Yeah, yeah. You do you be you don't want to fit in somebody's narrative. If I'm used to calling water water, it's gonna be water for a very long time for me.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice. How did you get job immediately when you came, or like it took you some time?
Of course, I didn't. For the first time, I didn't. I just came to like survey the land, more of a reconnaissance tour.
Mm,
Um, so I didn't get a job. I wasn't interested in like having a job at the first time. I stayed for like a month and went back.
mhm,
Then when I came back, yes, of course, I had to now settle in, got a job. I was what is it called? Um, Cashier, Stop and
mhm.
Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started my job at a Stop and Shop, which is a store, kind of a supermarket. And then you first start with being the person who bags the things, and then the next step you are a cashier. Then I kept rising in the ranks. I think by the time I was leaving, I was in charge of what is it, the self checkout things. So I
Okay.
considered that some growth, but that was something that like you have to start somewhere because I didn't have a lot of like expectation like I'm coming here and I'm going to a big law firm like those firms that people see in the suits. No,
Yes.
that's in the movies. Like you gotta have a strategy. You have to start from somewhere. You have to be very strategic in whatever you're doing. So yeah,
Uh,
my first job, of course, was in a supermarket, and
how was it? Because we know it's usually to be in America and working is usually marathon back and forth. Were you having all this back and forth? You don't even have time to sleep,
uh,
or you created some time for yourself.
yeah, for the first job, it was not so hard because it was part time. So I
Yeah.
had some times in my hands, and it was
Mm,
closer home. So it wasn't so fast paced, and I
mm,
didn't have a lot of expectations then. I mean, I was just like still settling in. So I
mhm.
wasn't in that kind of like rushing to get more money or rushing to do things. I was at least moving at a slower pace. Then again, I got a different job then. So, but for the first time, I didn't stress myself. Yeah, down the road, things got a little took a different turn, and now my focus was again making my family as comfortable as I wanted to be,
Mhm.
and making my mom happy, and sometimes also making a few friends of mine happy.
Okay,
It's
that,
happy.
that's okay. That's a normal life for every human being. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so I know you came and after some times you joined the school, college to pursue some professional course. So, what
Mhm.
motivated you to join a law school, and which law did you specialize in? After coming just in America and starting to work, and
Mhm.
you decide to get out of work and join the schooling. How was
Ah,
it? What
okay.
motivated
Now,
you?
honestly, this is where I said life took a different twist because, first of all, what motivated me to join law school? I'd already been in law school in Kenya, so that was easy.
Okay.
And yeah, and I just wanted to keep that dream alive. Like I'd already done 4 years of law school. That's a lot of work. I didn't want that to go to the drain. And I had a feeling like I need to step things up, at least to be a role model to other people. And also, one day I wanted to be in a situation where I can tell my son, like, hey, you see, I did all this. You
Yeah.
wanna yeah, do something, at least to be that person who is like a light to many people. So that
Hmm.
that did motivate me. But by the time I was starting, I'd joined another organization, a non-for-profit organization, as a direct support professional.
Mhm.
That was now when I had to also juggle things
Yeah.
because yeah, I had to also work, and at the same time I had to go to school. Now my boss was really good, and he helped me the kind of a flexible schedule where I could work weekends and go to school on weekdays. So I went to school in Albany, and that's like a 2-hour drive from Poughkeepsie, New York. That's really tough if you're like going back and forth. My
Mhm.
boss was kind enough to adjust my schedule to fit my school needs. So those are things that kept me going. I was like, yeah, these people are nice, but they want me to at least get something done with my life, as I also try to be a good employee and change people's lives where I was working.
Mhm.
And it wasn't easy, of course, because there's assignments, and law school are pretty tough in America.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not it's not just like any other course. I'm not going to like diminish any other courses. Law schools are also are like very intensive classes.
Classes.
Yeah, and sometimes like every day there's what I call like, yeah, the professor just tells you, oh, you're going to be reading these pages. So
Mhm.
there's pages that you read ahead, sometimes 50, sometimes 100. And these are different units, so you have to be really ahead of the game. And at that point, I was like already in my late 20s. So I'm in school with people who are very young, so they are very active. So I had to
Active.
really have to really play catch up. And some of them were just actually students, but for me, I'm a student and I'm also a full-time employee. So it was not easy to keep the pace, but I had to keep the pace. And then there's like assignments, and then you have presentations. Then
Mhm.
of course you have exams. So I had to toughen up with prayers from, of course, my mom, my family, and my
Mhm.
wife's support. That kept
Okay.
me going. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was very tough, and I know something that sometimes majority of our population do not understand is when you come to a different country, or when you migrate to a different country, it becomes very difficult for you to navigate and to find a niche for yourself. It will
yes.
take you time, especially like your case whereby you are working full time, the same time you are driving to go to class. It's quite hectic, and it's not very easy for anybody to do that. It requires sacrifice, and I think you did yourself a big sacrifice, and
Thank
that was awesome. And how did you finance your law degree? What made you to stay focused on your studies, the same time taking care of your family essential needs back in Kenya? And this I would just just want to give you a little bit of story, because
you.
when you leave um, Kenya or any other country coming to United States, there's that big dream, yeah,
Mhm,
that the family expectation that you are going now. He's going to America. So many things will be completed, or we will live that life that we desire.
mhm,
But when you come over here, or when you come to United States,
mhm,
you find like things are very different. You know,
mhm,
yeah, you find like working in the same way you are going to school. How did you keep that? Yeah, you
mhm,
are providing for your mother back at home together with your sibling,
mhm,
the same time staying focused in your schooling.
mhm.
How did you do that?
Okay, great. Thank you for that question. First of all, I'll start with how I financed my law degree. So law degrees are very expensive. So I had to get a student loan through FAFSA. I'm still paying that
Mhm.
now. My employer at that time, still my employer by then, I'm still very loyal to them. They gave me some student tuition assistant program, like some money at least to keep you going as you do that. That was very good of them. I think they're pretty good with that. Um, and how did I stay focused?
Mhm.
I'm tempted to use a word that they use in Kenya. They say "nigod maze." I don't know if you know that. Yeah, it is.
Was it in God?
Yeah, yeah. Because the expectations is a lot. Just
Yeah.
let's say if you come here, like of course your community expects you to give something back. back at home. You
Mm-hmm.
also have your own bills here, like you have your rent that you need to pay. You have your car that you need money for gas. Sometimes you need, and sometimes you also want to live some soft life here. So you have to really find a balance and a lot of discipline to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my high school training also helped me. That we were told in Maseno by our principal some time back that if you can survive in Maseno, you can survive anywhere else. So I believed that, and I just said I have to make this work at all cost. I have to ensure that everything everything matches as to my objectives, and then in a good turn of events, I later got married and had a baby. So
Oh.
my wife was always pushing me to be the great, and I remember I have a son now, so I have to. This has to work. So
No, no, you don't. You did not have otherwise. So you said
yeah,
you have to push yourself.
yeah. Now there was not that kind of gambling. When you're still single, you can say as long as my family are happy, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
But now when you have a wife and you have now a son,
Mm-hmm.
we're named after my dad, so
Mm-hmm.
that gave me a lot of push. Like we have to make this work. My wife was also on my neck, like, hey, you got this, and I was like, yeah, I got this.
Oh.
That I think that is what really helped me to also be where I am. And I always try to put my mind in the things I want to do. If I know I'm going to do A, I will do.
Hey.
I will try as much as possible and do A and get an A out of it.
Uh,
And I don't give up. So there are very few instances where I can say I give up, but I don't give up. I try to push harder. I push myself harder and give myself time. Now, how do I manage expectations? Sometimes I just explain because there's going to be people who are going to ask you for some help here and there. If you can't help, just be honest and say, hey, this is really not the right time. I'm still having a lot of things on my end too. But if you want to make so many people happy, that's where the problem starts. Like there's somebody needs some money that you don't even have yourself, but you say, oh, let me just take a small portion of this little saving that I have, or this that I have to give out. So you could do that, but you end up also being broke. So if you can help, yeah, help out, but be realistic about it, and just don't tell somebody you can help and you cannot, and then now you end up saying, oh, well, let me just see what I can do. At least help
yeah.
if there's a chance. Most people fall into that trap where they want to at least make everybody happy. I almost fell into that trap too. So
Mm-hmm.
that you have people you really want to manage. So
Actually, somebody was saying it is like you are running a global fund.
yeah, yeah.
You are creating a global fund for everybody, so people will just apply. Okay, I want this, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
will just give it out.
that is true. So you have to be cautious about how you do your things. I
Mm-hmm.
think my goal has always been to ensure my family live a comfortable life. That's
Mm-hmm.
my mom, my sister, like my nuclear family, and people around me. Of course, my extended family as well, and also my friends. And again, I'm always motivated to help others too. But again, once my mom is in a comfortable situation, I feel happy about that. Once my wife and my son and my sister are in that comfortable zone, I feel happy. I don't really know how to say, oh, I have to break my back because I have another thing altogether.
Okay, you mentioned naming your son after your dad.
Yes.
What kind of a person was your dad?
Yeah, my dad, I didn't spend a lot of time with my dad, but I'm told my dad was a very great guy. So anytime, sometimes I go back to the village,
Mm-hmm.
because I look like my dad, and my son looks like me too.
So,
Yeah, when people tell me they see my dad, and they remember how my dad was such a nice person. He would go to the villages and distribute salt, which was a big deal back in the day, and
back then, yeah.
salt, sugar, and he was just a people person. And,
Mm-hmm.
they- and he was also a disciplinarian. Like he loved his brothers and sisters and people around him to have the greatest level of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was I think he also gives me a lot of inspiration, even though we didn't spend a lot of time together with him. And I thought it was the wise that my wife and I agreed to name our son after my dad.
Such a great man.
Yeah, after a great man. He was a teacher, so that
Oh,
also,
oh,
yeah,
oh.
yeah. Teachers are generally some of the best people.
Actually, back in the days, right now in Kenya right now, you find like the teachers are not so much recognized. They're not they're not being recognized as good pillars of our society. And
Yeah,
sometimes even you can see the relationship between the students and the teachers. Sometimes the teachers, the students themselves, they disrespect the teachers, but
that's
teachers teachers are the good pillars of our society.
yeah. I really give a lot of credit to the teachers I've had
Yeah,
all the way from primary, Mrs. Apunda, all the way. Like I still visit my teachers whenever I'm in Kenya, even
that's
teachers who taught me in
that's
nursery,
good.
because I know how much of a good job they've done. In high school, we had one teacher who kept saying, "A teacher is a god." I believe that. Like a teacher, he was a what is it? Agriculture teacher. I forgot his name. But
Okay.
yeah, he used to say,
We will find him if he comes to watch the show. He will
yeah,
know how much to appreciate them, and that's good. So,
yeah,
my brother, after going all that, and maybe you're through your education after graduating, and how long did you take? Did it take you to be permitted to practice law in the New York State?
yeah. That takes a while. I'm not going to lie to you. That takes a while. So New York is very strict about admitting lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
especially like lawyers, like foreign lawyers, and then you go to school here. It,
Mm-hmm.
it takes time. There's a lot of background check and all that. So I
Mm-hmm.
did two masters. I did LLM foreign, which is like masters in American law, and I also did masters in international law. And then after that, then I had to now ask the New York State Board of Law Examiners, it's called BOLE,
Mm-hmm.
to like review my credentials and see if I'm eligible to sit the bar exam. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, there's always that back and forth, like, hey, we need this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you qualify to even sit for the bar exam?
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting times because I had to like make some appeals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after I got the chance to sit for the exam, I mean, after they declared me eligible, now the studying starts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this was during like the COVID area, so everything was almost remote, and the exam was remote. So I had a pretty rough exam on my first time
Mm-hmm.
because my life has always been about writing. So, I've always done right. Even when I was going to school here, I most like 90% of the class would be typing. I'm like, "Oh, people,
Mm-hmm.
what's like?" Because my all my life I'm always just writing, like
Mm-hmm.
writing, and I write so fast. But then my friends would tell me, "How do you write that fast?" And they
Mm-hmm.
type very fast.
Ah,
So
okay.
our first exam was a COVID time exam. It was typing, and yeah, I didn't meet the cut for the first one. I had to do a second bite. And New York exam, like New York law exam, it is called the UBE. They're pretty tough. They're really
Wow.
it's a
That's wow.
typical exam, like 9 to 5, 9 to 5, and
Mm-hmm.
I missed it by a few points. But now
Mm-hmm.
missing it gave me a very good chance to say, oh, this thing I can pass it because I missed it by very, very few points. I said, if
Mm-hmm.
I type this exam and I missed by these few points, what if I actually have to write?
Right.
So the
Yes.
next exam was offered. There was an option to sit in and write. I'm happy
Mm-hmm.
to say I did very, very well. I was probably among the top, not really like within the whole United States, because this is a whole United States exam, but I scored very highly when it was now a written exam, and I was happy about it. And then that was so I passed the exam in. The exam was offered in February 2022. That was last year.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just got admitted sometime this year, like May. So
That's how many months?
that's a year
A
plus.
year. A year plus.
Yes, a year plus. Because after doing this UBE exam, then
Mm-hmm.
there are other, because this UBE is like an interstate kind of uniform bar exam, like many states. I think 35 states are doing this same exam.
So
Then
so let me ask
yeah,
you.
Mhm.
So are you allowed to practice only in New York or other states too?
That is a yes and no. So yes, in the form like I am only supposed to. I can only go to New York courts if I'm like, if you have like a traffic ticket, I can defend you in New York court. I can't go to New Jersey and defend a person in New Jersey
Oh,
unless other exceptions occur. Like I can ask New Jersey court, hey, my friend Benson is here. I want to just take care of this one case. It's called pro hac vice. One case, and then I'm out.
okay.
Or if I associate with another lawyer in New Jersey, so that's allowed. Now,
Okay. All right.
on the other side, I am allowed to technically practice because I do mostly immigration law. So this immigration law is like a federal. So even if somebody has a case in Alaska, I,
Okay.
I can do that case. Or if somebody
Okay.
has a case in Hawaii,
Mm.
we are like federal, technically federal, kind of not federal lawyers per se, but we can represent a person from any state. So it's a yes and no answer.
Is a yes and no. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. So,
Yes.
brother, as we continue as
Yeah.
an immigration, I know because you specialize as an immigration attorney.
Yes.
Your services, do you offer pro bono, or you can't pay some legal fee for those who are seeking your guidance, some legal fee?
There is, first of all, we are obligated to do pro bono, so I do pro bono
Okay.
most times, and but also, a legal firm has to run, so some cases, like majority of my cases, have to have fees attached to them. So that's correct. I do pro bono, and
Let me ask you, like, it's a situation whereby a Kenyan, somebody from Kenyan origin, has a problem, or is seeking your advice concerning her immigration status.
Mhm.
Are you going to pay some legal? Is he or she going to pay some legal fee, or you can just say, since you're coming from Kenya, I will do it as a brother?
So that's somebody who is already in the United States,
Yeah,
right?
somebody who is in the United States. Because,
Okay.
like, I know the people come with various visas, and you know how sometimes it get complicated. And
Yeah.
now somebody comes to you, a brother, okay, hey, Mr. Obech, this is what I have. Can kindly give me some advice and guidance on this?
Okay. So I know you won't believe my answer, but this is my answer.
Mhm.
Yes, the advice we give is free.
Yeah, okay.
Not like we as lawyers, but personally, I was encouraged to do this by my seniors who have also been. I think there are two Kenyan lawyers around here.
Okay.
One of them is a friend of mine. His name is Job Okello. So he's the one who made me see the sense of giving free advice to most likely immigrants, especially immigrants from our places. And I also have clients from other countries, say Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda. But why do I personally take my time to give free legal advice? And I want you to know the difference. So I give free legal advice because I want our people, or immigrants generally, to have the correct information
Mhm.
and act on that correct information instead of making wrong decisions that now is going to take forever to correct, and some of them you can't make a corrections on those. So if you call me, I definitely have a calendar. I'll redirect you to that. Hey, book some time for consultation. Let's have a chat. Tell me what's going on. I'll be able to tell you, okay, this is a way in which you can navigate this and that. So
Mhm.
that's the service in which I personally give back to our people and people who have always encouraged me and motivated me. Apart from my family, of course, this is a way
Mhm.
I give back to other Kenyans. Now, when it comes to now actual legal services, I mean, this is still legal services, but when it comes to now filing forms, defending somebody who is on a deportation proceeding, or actual representation, yes, that's going to attract some fee to it. And I think that's just being reasonable.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get a fair deal than that. So, but if you have an issue, and I think you've also called me, hey, Wakili,
I've called you. I know I've
yeah,
called you several times
yeah.
concerning issues. Hey,
Yeah,
Wakili,
no,
how are you
I
doing?
don't
Yeah,
think I've
I've
sent
called you several
an
times. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I've sent an invoice your way yet. But one day, which when you tell me like, I want us to file this form. I want to file for my mother to come here because you're a citizen now. So if you tell me, hey, I want to file for my brother, my sister,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're gonna see an invoice. So definitely,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah. But if you call me to ask me, so what do I need? What do I need? Oh, can I file for my cousin? I'll be like, no, you cannot. Can I file for so and so? I'll be like, yeah, you can. Or what are the requirements for this and that? I would be more than glad to help somebody. Why? If you make a mistake in some of these forms, you could be easily committing immigration fraud. And to
Mhm,
correct that, now
mhm.
you're gonna have to come back to us and pay heavy fees.
Yeah,
So
I think next time in if you find time in your calendar, I know you have a very busy calendar. We can come again and share some of what you're sharing in deep, rather than what we are doing, because this way we were just having a conversation. So I will be reaching out to you and check on your calendars. If you find time, just let me know, and we can spread the information. And I know many people might be wondering, or many people might want to ask so many questions. So you will be at a position to give them those answers.
that's
Yeah.
great. I'm more than willing to help. I mean, now I started studying law. I've studied law for over 12 years now, so
uh,
I have a wide span of knowledge, both from Kenya and
Kenya and
it's yeah, and also experience. Right? Like I'm very experienced in a lot of legal matters.
thank you. That's good. So,
Thank you for for already acknowledging you want to have me back. I'm ready. I'm happy to be
oh,
here already. So
okay.
definitely be happy to be back.
Okay, Mister. Currently, are you employed? Maybe.
That is correct. Well, I run my own virtual law firm, Obech Law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also still employed by my one of my first employers, not the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, as a residential counselor too, RC2.
Mm-hmm.
And I say I'm loyal to them because they are very understanding to me, and they have been very flexible with me, and I'm still with them. On the side, I'm also legal compliance officer for a mid-size firm that does mostly tax laws. So I consult for them on
Mm-hmm.
matters of ethical and regulatory compliance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can consider myself employed and and self-employed.
Self-employed, but any challenges? Because I know you cannot miss out on challenges. What kind of
Yeah.
challenges are you encountering in your practice as an attorney?
Um, yeah, there's a number of challenges. Some of the challenges are like when somebody comes to me, and I think most attorneys have this challenge on an issue that maybe you feel like you just pray that they should have come to you earlier. Now they're coming to you when it's already on an escalated level and the
Oh,
government
yeah.
is after them. Yeah. And also I take some of like some of immigration work is mostly about people's lives. Like you do something wrong and
Mhm.
your next daylight full daylight will be in Kenya. So I take some of these things very personally and I get really engrossed in them. I think that's a challenge, and also this job sometimes comes with exhaustion and
Mhm.
fatigue, especially if you're doing a lot, because we have to do both research, we have to represent people, we have to do a lot of things, and fatigue comes sometimes. You just fatigue, but the biggest portion of challenge I have sometimes is just feeling bad that sometimes a family has to be separated from another.
Yeah.
That's something that is so touching and painful to be sometimes, because again, immigration lawyers, they lose cases, they win cases.
Okay.
It's not, yeah, it's not an easy win-win all the time, and
Mhm.
sometimes your client is ordered for deportation, and that's a sad part in life. Like this is somebody you have.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge. I'm not going to lie that that's
Yeah.
a challenge.
But you do overcome them.
Yes. Again, I just pray that I overcome them, and in most cases I overcome them. But as I told you, I have a very good support system.
Mhm.
Here, my wife, my uncles are here. My uncle Peter is always checking on me. Peter Andele is.
I know I've talked to him several times.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's always checking on me, like, hey, what's going on? What's new now? We meet at like a diner, get some good food, and you know
Mhm.
at least most people here keep me going, and my friends, and I love the support I get. That helps me to overcome many challenges.
Okay, that's good. And That's good to know. Any plans in the near future to go back to practice law in Kenya? Kenya is your country. That's
It is
Netherlands. Come
kind
back to Kenya and let's get these services. That's the only thing you can do for your country.
yeah, that is true. I mean, I've always wanted to go back to Kenya anyway, so that's not like I don't have plans.
Mhm.
Uh, you've been here a long time, probably way longer than I've been, and you know how much this environment is training. The work-life balance is not even there. First of all, right now it's summer. We are not even like outside. If it was like this kind of time in Kenya, we'll be having a lot of fun, eating some yama, listening to good music, and some of us drink some nice drinks. But
Mhm.
here it's all about like work, and then you get a little sleep, then it's work, a few days for vacation, and then you're back to work.
Mhm.
So I think about the life in Kenya as one of the most beautiful life setup you can ever have,
Mhm.
where you like 9 to 5 and that's it. Here, like even 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Some people work overnight. So, like
Yeah.
there's no really nice work balance. So
Mhm.
at some point, I'm teaming up with some of my friends in Kenya, at least at a later time, so that we can open up like a law firm in Nairobi
Mhm.
helps people, even because even Kenyans have some immigration issues here and there. So if
Mhm.
you can open up like an international law firm, an international like based firm in Nairobi, I'm more than open to that kind of idea. I've shared that with my friends, and they're very excited about the plans we have to start something good in Kenya.
And
So yeah,
actually, that one will be good. Maybe your presence might not be needed, but
yeah,
your advice and input will play a critical role. Actually, not even to your peers or your learned friends. You people have this these learned friends.
yeah.
Well, some of us who went to this other college, we are not learned.
No, you are. Everyone is learning.
No,
You
but
know, I
why do
talk
you
to
keep
my
on
friends
calling
and
you? Why do you keep on calling yourself learned friends?
um,
Why?
people started just calling us. I mean, some people look at us like learned friends, and some people also look at us like lawyers with just like suits and some small English. So, so you may think we are learning. Some people are just, it's just somebody wearing a suit and some small English here and there. That's how some people refer to us. I was like, okay, it's okay. One day you'll need our services, and things go
Yes.
beyond a suit. So,
Yeah. So,
so
so as I was saying, by you thinking of in that way of having a law firm, international law firm in Kenya, that one will play critical role. It can also be as a case study for
yes.
the students who are studying law in Kenya on how you can interact on the immigration law. I think that one will be very beneficial to our community and our country at
Yeah,
large.
thank you. Yeah, that's what we are working on. I'm also working on those friends of mine who I went to
Mhm.
school with in the University of Nairobi. One of them is Jim Akach, very nice guy. Another guy
Mhm.
is Smith
Mhm.
Ouma, a very young guy with a PhD. So those
Eh,
are the
we,
people who are
bring them. We need to bring them on board so that
yeah,
we
I
yeah,
definitely will. This is
yeah.
this is a
Let
very
Jimmy and the rest come on board. Yeah,
these are very sharp brains.
yeah.
Norman Gabula, Sam Matundura, very, very sharp people.
We
So
need them.
yeah, so yeah, we are setting up an instance where we can try and have them also admitted in New York, and then also work on my admission in Kenya, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah,
So,
that's very good idea. Yeah.
yes.
So, what advice do you have for young people who are in America or those who are planning to come to United States in the near future?
Oh, that's interesting question. you First of all, you even disappeared after asking me that question.
Well, yeah, because uh, the reason why I'm asking you that,
Yeah.
because um, maybe some people have not experienced when you come to America,
Yes.
it's between work, work,
Mhm.
work, work, work. Yeah,
Yeah.
and what makes you to work is the burden back at home. You see your family, and you feel like you have to do something for them. And at the same time, the way you sacrifice your time to go through a law school is not very easy. So just like to advise those who are here
Mhm.
on what they can do, despite the fact that they're working hard to keep their family going. At the same time, they should think to do the same thing that you did by going to school. And those who are coming in the future, because somebody might be coming in the future, because I know maybe there are few who have gotten the green card the same way you got the green card. And in their mind, they have very different visions. When I come to US, this is what I will do. I will have a car, I will have a house, I will live good, which sometimes is not a reality, So
Yeah.
what advice do you have for them?
So one advice that I have for the people who are already here is so I have two advices actually,
Mhm.
probably, yeah,
Mhm.
maybe two. One is based on like the family setup, or like be unified
Mhm.
amongst yourself, like have some sense of unity and
Mhm.
uplift each other. It
Yeah.
is good to have competition, but healthy competition to ensure that we all grow together, and not
Mhm.
competition that we try to bring each other down.
Mhm.
So there are many Kenyans currently in the Hudson Valley region. I think maybe over 200 actually, close to
Mhm.
300. That's just within Poughkeepsie area and Hudson area and Peekskill region. We are many. So if we can be united, have some sense of unity, then we will definitely go far. Even starting from a family unit. I admire how your family is actually united. Like you're so many. I think we're the second many family. But
We
you
we we have a whole family.
yeah, so
Mm.
and that has been um, also as a result of bringing your people here. Like you see an opportunity, like hey, Mark, this opportunity. You want to come to the United States? But some families, unfortunately, even if there's an opportunity, people will not call their family to come over. Like if you have an opportunity to petition for your brother, there's nothing that prevents you from doing that if you're a
Mhm.
student, or for your mother. So I know you personally have been a beneficiary of unity within your family. So that's one thing I always try to tell people to do, to be
Mhm.
unified. Then secondly, at least to try and have some work-life balance, not to,
Mhm.
yeah, at least try have work-life balance. That's even to my own self. Like that's an
Yeah.
advice to my own self,
Yeah.
to take some break from work, because you could work so hard here and go crazy. You
Mhm.
could work so hard and then it's all vanity if you don't have time to enjoy it with the people you love and
You
cherish.
love.
Yeah. And now for the people who are still very young and have some energy, I will advise them at least to go to school, uh, get some um, get some degree. If you didn't, if you're okay with what you're doing, that's fine. But
Mhm.
I always try to encourage people to use where you are as a stepping stone to something bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're working at Home Depot, for example, work on becoming like either general manager or somebody, some engineer who can handle tools. Like just use wherever position you are in
Mhm.
to go to a higher pedestal in life.
Mhm.
And that one, education is always a very big equalizer in
Plus, I know everything.
yeah.
Mm.
So it also, education will also prevent you from working like so many jobs,
Mhm.
so you can just have one job and it's very but if you have not actually done some specialization education, you could be all over the place.
Mhm.
And of course, let us also work hard. I love the fact that people here also work very hard. and
Mhm.
and I'm gonna be honest with you, like women work probably way harder here than men, and they've done
Mhm.
amazing things at home. They've built homes. They have a lot of like businesses going on,
Going on, yeah.
and they've, women uplift many people's lives, and like they're probably uplifting their own home and where they're probably married also. So
Mhm.
I think that hard work that they've put, I really marvel at that, and I think I can only encourage them at least to keep working harder and working smarter.
Yeah, so we say congratulations to our Kenyan women and Kenyan sisters who are here, who are working very hard to see life changing in their home, even back at home. Thank
Yeah,
you and continue with the good work.
yeah, I gotta give them a lot of respect for that. I know so many incredible people who have changed other people's lives, and just
Mhm.
through sheer hard work. That those are things that fascinate me. I'm not saying men are not doing a good job. They're doing really really good job too. I know people like you have done a lot. First of all, just having this channel is a big deal, and I know you have organizations that non-for-profit organizations and NGOs that you run at home. Those are
Mm.
things that change people's lives both
Mm.
now and in the future, and definitely you'll be remembered for that.
Yes.
Just do good. You know, nobody can erase the good you do. They can just people can just talk about it, both negative and positive, but they can't erase it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like the things you've done for people, nobody's going to take that away from you.
Actually, one thing that is good, or one thing that is satisfying myself, is to see a smiling face on a person, is to see somebody life changing from being the worst to the best. So when you sit down and see such like things, like you see like a clear change of life of somebody who was not regarded as a person in society, and he becomes the light of the society just because of you, that alone gives you a whole for life, and you feel like, now I've done a lot. So that's
Yeah.
how we should do it.
Yeah, thank you. So again, thank you for always being that one of those people, and also to many other people here who support Americans and also support our fellow Kenyans. I give you people a lot of, I send you a lot of love, and I can't imagine like how much of a change most of us are doing, making people's lives
People.
change,
Hmm.
and for the better. Most times for the better. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
the people coming, sorry, you are.
for the people coming, just
Yeah,
let
yeah.
them know.
For the people coming, so first thing, just
Hmm.
have the you got to have a good attitude and mental strength if you're coming to the United States. So,
Hmm.
and this prayer applies to many countries too. Some people think that if you leave Kenya, it's going to be soft life from like winter to the next winter. Yeah, it's tough. I can't discourage. I encourage people to come. First of all, I'm an immigration lawyer, so I always encourage everybody to, if you can come to the United States in one way or another, please do. But be like, have it in your mind that you may need to adapt. First of all, maybe the job you'll be thinking may not be the job you'll have at first.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're a big time attorney in Kenya, then you come to the United States before you do all these changes and be admitted in New York. You have to go through sometimes. Like, you go to have
Hmm.
to go through some things. Sometimes you'll be doing a job that you never thought yourself doing in life. But some of these things are temporary.
Hmm.
Some of these things are temporary as long as you know your goal in life. So come with an open mind. Come to the United States with the thought that anything that can be thrown your way, and you should know how to navigate and how to maneuver. And again, be adaptable. Like, also, because sometimes you can come to a family that you think was going to host you so well, then there's like differences.
Yeah, the different.
Yeah, so you have to know how to adapt real quickly and probably find your place. It's just when we talk about it, people just think, oh, we just don't want them to come to the United States. That's not the case. Like, sometimes life here can be a really it can make you really think about your life. Like, is this really what I wanted to do,
And
or
yeah,
is this really what like what I thought America was about?
mm-hmm.
You need to have a thick skin, and you need to know that some days will be tough. And just like the seasons, there's a season where it's warm, there's a season where it's too cold and freezing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's the advice I have for them. Also, for them, if you make it here, get something going and be very strategic, especially with education. Try further your education as you maybe get a job where you can get some money in there. But just let's look at what works. sometimes education doesn't work as soon as you step in. Even me, it took me time before I went back to school because
Mm.
I came here and my mom was still living in Shauriako, and I was like, there's no way my mom is going to be living in Shauriako. I was like, my first priority was to get my mom from Shauriako to to the suburbs of Homa Bay,
Yeah,
somewhere better.
at least better.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to come here like, hey, education is the first thing. No, I mean, that's me. You probably have a different view about that, but there's no way my mom was still going to be living somewhere where I lived. And I don't say Shoriak is a bad place to live. I love the place. I still go there, but I feel like she needed an upgrade. My family needed an upgrade as soon as I stepped in. So my focus was to make my family as comfortable as possible then.
And that's what I usually say, especially for those who are brought up by mothers like me. I usually say that I will give my mother a decent living. I will not give my mother a decent send off. Let me give my mother a decent living because she deserves that. I will not wait until my mother dies. Then I will say, I want to give my mother a decent send off. That's when I'm going to buy that expensive flower and put in my mother's grave. No, I'm giving my mother a decent living. When she dies, I believe and I'm convinced that I've given my mother all the best. I cannot give her a decent send off at her death, but I'm giving her a decent living when she's still alive. That's how I usually put it. It's not
That's a very
everybody can put
powerful.
it that way.
That's a very
Especially
powerful.
if
Yeah.
if you're brought up by your mother in in a family whereby people are struggling, and then along the way God blesses you. You have to reflect back on the sacrifices this lady or our mothers went through, because especially when it comes to paying school fee, our mothers would go to all the leaders, they would go to all the people they feel, and sometimes they're being abused over there, they're being told insulting words, but they don't come and tell you that when I went to for your assistant for school fee, this is what so and so told me. She will come home smiling and say things will be okay. But if you listen to her during night when she's doing all those kind of prayers, you will realize that this woman is paying a lot of sacrifice for me. She has taken a lot for me. So that's why if God blesses you or if you're blessed, give your mother or your parents a decent living. Even if you're planning to give them a decent send off, but let the living be 200% than 100% during buying those flowers during the death. That's how I feel. I might be wrong in my thinking,
Yeah,
but
man,
that's how I feel it does.
that's so true, my brother. Like
Yeah,
that's so powerful. That moved me a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, that moved me a lot. That's so powerful. That's a very emotional message.
yeah.
But it also made me reflect, especially for my mom. I mean, when I was going to the University of Nairobi, Parkland School of Law, my mom even organized for me a small Arambe so that I can have some little money here and there at least to go and start life. So those are things I remember. And in life, you have a very strong opinion about your mother. I do too. Like my mother is the only person who can call me and ask me for money, and I want to be saying kuna deal na ngoja ivani, like
No, 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 no.
yeah,
You have to.
unless it's something I feel like so unnecessary. But if she's calling me for something, it's always instant. I never even question like a lot. So she's that person to me. Like somebody I'll probably tell them, but there's a deal somewhere. But
I know.
deal
We don't do deals for our mothers.
yeah. For my
Yeah, no.
mom, if I have it, I definitely said yes. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's a very personal and touching message. I didn't know
Okay.
you also have that strong attachment to your mom, as I do. I'm a very passionate person about my mother, even though my mother still thinks I'm a child. Okay.
Let me tell you something that usually happens with our mothers. When I go home, and when we eat, and my mother would always, after eating, she will always like keep a small portion for me. After everyone has eaten, like she will give me, and I tell her, mom, nowadays I'm old grown man, and she every day she does that. So I say, so I don't also want to disappoint the mom. I will just eat it, but like, I'm a grown man
Yeah,
right
you
now.
feel like you're a grown person. That's true. Yeah,
But
that's true.
before my mom, I'm a kid. I'm a small child. They don't see that. You will always be a kid before your mother.
But we have so many like similar experiences. Even me. So on the good days when we would drink milk tea. So when my mom makes the milk, the milk tea, the chai, after she would not put all the milk in it, so she would leave me a little milk for me and my sister, at least to the last bit of it. Until I was really grown, until I think I was
Yeah.
in college, I was like, hey, I still
No,
get.
that's good. That's how
Yeah.
our mothers
I
are.
don't think she may even try that now, but I hope she doesn't.
No, she will do perfectly. She will do.
Yeah,
I've experienced it.
subconsciously. Yeah, that's true.
I know them. I know my mom very well. She will do that for me. Yeah, I think, and I don't know when she will stop doing that, but that's how. So, Wakili, let me just take before we wind up the show. It was
Yeah,
very nice having you and a
yeah.
very nice conversation. So, um, what inspire you in life in general, despite the motivation you get in school and every going to what inspire you in life?
Oh, of course. After talking about my mother a lot, of course, that's one of the biggest inspiration. My family inspires me to do a lot of things. You know, I'm
Yeah.
very like my nuclear family is
Uh,
limited. Yeah, it's my wife, my son, my mother, my
mm,
sister. Those are people who are like deep within it. But my extended family also is there.
mm,
But I also get inspired by doing good to others. I believe if you do good, it helps somebody and it pays off and it comes back to you. So that has been my inspiration. Like be the light and help people, and no, you may not get the benefit immediately or the gratification immediately, but at a
mm,
future time, that good
mm,
will come to you in one way or another, or through your son or through your grandson. But that light that we keep shining,
mhm.
yeah, inspires me a lot because I know I've changed people's lives,
Yeah.
and that much I know because those are like factual. If I
Actually, yeah.
do something, I know I've done that, and I get inspiration from those kinds of acts of kindness. I also get inspired by the kindness that people offer me too.
Yes.
Yeah, there are people who have been really nice to me.
Mhm.
There are some days were tough that I was going to school and I had exams and I had a lot of things going on, and school was like 2 hours. A Kenyan helped me to get some days where I could spend at his place.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, those are kind of acts that I don't take
You don't
light.
take them for granted. Don't take them
Yeah,
for granted. Yeah.
yes. And for also people who have always encouraged me and prepared the way to where I am. Again, I've told
Mhm.
you about Mr. Job Okello, Mr. Otieno Mbok, who I also consulted before I started doing my law studies.
Mhm.
So those people who have positively impacted my life, they inspire me a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, the people who have done good to me, my friends, I can't mention everybody, but
You cannot be is a big support.
yeah,
And what I usually say, if you do good, sometimes when we do to others, when we do things to others, sometimes we might expect a very immediate return of what immediate blessings. But I came to realize this, that the nature will always conspire with you and give you what you want. And immediately after assisting somebody, there are things that happen in your life, like they come in a micro. They are so small that you cannot recognize them, but you
yes,
usually get them. Those small favors, you cannot realize that I've gotten a favor, but they are there. So when you send or you assist somebody, there's a
yes,
favor that is coming. It might be very micro favor that you are not even realizing that is there, but it is there. Don't expect to get a big one.
the big
No,
one,
the big
yeah,
one will not come. Like you no, the
yeah,
small ones that come in every day,
yes,
you will experience them. The nature will always pays you for what you do If you do right, the nature will pay you. If you do wrong, the nature will pay you. That is what is there.
Yeah, that's the standard. Yeah, that I totally agree with. And also they can be those
Mm-hmm.
small goods, but if you look at them in a grand scheme of things, it's really really big. So
Yeah.
there are small things small goods that have come to you, and if you sit back and say, that's a lot of good things that I have received in my life. So again, you and I have a lot of parallels in terms of you
Yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
have we have a lot of things that join us together, especially doing good to people, mostly people back at home. So that inspires me too. Again, I say people inspire me, and also my the inspiration to do good.
Okay. Wakili, how we call you in Kenya, and here we call you an attorney. Thank you very much for taking your time and honoring my invite. It was a pleasure having you on my show. And I will still look at your schedule, work with you on schedule so we can talk more of immigration,
Yeah,
talk of visas and everything.
yeah.
And those who are going to watch this video, just give us a comment. Any question you want, we will write them down. When we host an attorney next time, he will answer those questions for you. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll be more than willing to show up next time with the more legal questions. Today was such an awesome place, but very legal stuff. Immigration law is my bread and butter, but I'm happy to have done this. Of course, I don't know if people want to reach me. My email is vobech at
Mhm.
obechlaw.com. So just V for Victor, Obech at obechlaw.com if somebody wants to reach out to me. But again, they can leave a comment there and
Yeah,
definitely.
they can leave a comment. If they leave
Yeah.
a comment, I will follow up with them and give them all your details so they can reach you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother. It's been a wonderful experience being here. I'm so happy to be on the show. I can't wait to be back.
Okay, thank you very much. And we will be hosting you soonest.
Thank you.
Yeah.